My name is James Kuhn. I'm a volunteer at the Canandaigua VA Medical Center. Today, I'm interviewing Albert G. Scheinfeld, who served as a medic in the Army in World War II. Today is Thursday, March 5th, 2015. We're in Rochester, New York, doing this interview. Others in the room are Gertrude Scheinfeld, his wife, and Sherry Scheinfeld Gorin, his daughter. This interview is being conducted for the Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress. Tell us your story.
Well, I went into the service in October of 1942, but I went into service November 4th, 1943. I was reading the newspaper the day after election. I was reading the election results the day I went into the Army by streetcar. And by streetcar I went to Fort Devens. And Fort Devens I went to Camp Polk, Louisiana. And I spent about 3 days on a train going down there. And I spent basic training at Camp Polk, Louisiana. And which is something I wouldn't graduate for. I was sent to medical school at Scoville Barracks in Hawaii. I forgot which one, not the Schofield itself, one of the other barracks. They taught me anesthesia with sodium pentothal, and I was a medic. And basically my training was medic. I had it very easy, the medic, because they taught us how to fire every weapon there was in the infantry, but actually it was very easy for me. And I spent my time with the medics. I learned how to fire every weapon there was in the medics. Then I was sent to Schofield Barracks. Then there was another one at another barracks. I got a picture here someplace of the barracks where I was, and it was very easy for me. I was taught. I did some work there because there was nothing to it. When I was in the service, before I went into the service, I worked in a veterinary hospital, and I learned all kinds of veterinary stuff. So it was very simple, nothing to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a medic. And I was number one in my class because it was very simple, and I used to teach the guys how to do things in the barracks. To me, it was simple stuff. But Ellington Technical School, Camp Polk, Louisiana, for the 11th Armored Division, 58. I remember him. I remember a lot of this stuff.
So what happened after that, Dad?
What?
So after you were trained, you also went to engineering school, didn't you?
And enlisted technical school. Springfield, Missouri.
Good time to pause, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, go ahead.
This is Selma, what's her name, upstairs. She lived upstairs of me,
Your neighbor?
my neighbor.
At O'Reilly General?
No.
When you were at O'Reilly General?
I don't know whatever. She was a nurse. I can't remember any of this stuff. This is when I was in the hospital, I believe. Yeah.
So why were you in the hospital?
I had an infection in my feet.
Before you went into the Army, right?
I was in the Army.
Oh, you were already in the Army. So they sent you to the hospital?
That's right.
And which hospital was that?
Purdue University.
Oh, at Purdue. And
Yeah.
and then your feet recovered somewhat.
Then I went on to O'Reilly General, I forgot someplace. Then we were in a show in town.
So then after you had finished your training, Dad, then what? So you were at O'Reilly General, you learned to be a medic, you were first in your class, and didn't you also get some training in Rockville, Illinois?
Yeah.
And what kind of training did you get there?
Medic.
Oh, it was more medic training.
O'Reilly. All right.
And then you had additional training, and you, in particular, you got training in administering sodium pentothal, right?
Yeah.
And that came in handy later on, I guess. And then when you were
O'Reilly
done,
General.
do you want to show the picture to the camera, Dad? Was that the best picture at O'Reilly General? Dad?
Stuck on the picture.
When I was on furlough at home. This is Dickie. That was Dickie, I think.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to get some more information about your military career. What happened to you while you were in the service?
Oh, yeah, inspection at the bar. Lined up, waiting for inspection.
When you were in Hawaii, did you have many pineapples?
I don't know.
Yesterday you told us a good story about that, Dad. So
No.
after you got your training as a medic, you then went up to Seattle, right?
I remember.
Sure you do. You went up to Seattle and then you went overseas, right?
O'Reilly General. I spent a lot of time there.
That seems to have been a good place for you. So Dad, do you have any pictures of when you were in Seattle and you left for overseas?
I don't know.
So do we want to look at the pictures in a minute, Dad? Because the camera can't really see the pictures.
42, Camp Cruz there. There's Sid Cohen. No.
I'm going to pause a second. You were telling us about your training and so forth. Did you then tell us about how you went on to active duty?
Yeah, well, I went in, I was at Schofield Barracks. They sent me to Schofield Barracks, not the Schofield Barracks itself, one of the hospitals there. And I was taught anesthesia there. You know,
Okay.
that was interesting. Do you want to hear an interesting story?
Well, I do, but you were kind of talking about this in a way that you experienced it,
Yeah.
and you told us about entering the service and your training, and now I'm interested in, from there, where did you go on to active duty, and what happened then?
I went on to Eluitak, I think, Kwajalein, Saipan, Tinian, Okinawa.
Oh,
I went with called Mid-Pac.
and how did you travel there, and what
By
were
ship.
conditions? And what were conditions like?
Nothing to brag about. I mean, board ship, and I had it pretty easy though. I got a job as a lookout.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somehow I conned myself into a job aboard ship to be a lookout for submarines.
Tell us about that. Where were you on the ship, and what did you do?
Well, I was up on the top deck, and I stay up on the top deck with the nurses and the doctors, and theoretically looking for submarines.
And how long were your watches?
Couple of weeks, I think.
Well, but on a daily basis, under 4 hours and 4 off?
So
or what?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I see.
I don't remember how long we stayed up. We stayed up as long as we could.
Okay,
It was better than staying down in the hole.
I see.
You go down in the hole there, you get sick.
Oh,
I mean, the hole was stunk.
mm-hmm.
And then I had a job for a little while as a medic. Then I had a job as working on cleaning pots and pans.
Mm.
Everybody got that job. And so that was it. We went aboard ship. And, you just did it, that's all.
And when you got to these islands, what did you do?
Oh, we went on board, walked on shore, maybe hung around a little bit, looked around, and went back on the ship.
So this was after the battles had been there.
Yeah, after that we taught Kwajalein, Saipan, Tini, and Okinawa, Japan.
Okay.
In Okinawa, we stayed.
Oh,
When we got off at Okinawa, we stayed on Okinawa.
was the battle still going on?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, we went October 2nd.
tell us about what conditions were like and what you did.
Well, they weren't nothing to brag about. They threw all the stuff on the deck, down on the beach, and you pick up your bags down there, and however you can find your own bag, and you stayed there until you found they set tents up and things, and you stay there. That's it. I had a tent with a pup tent with Eddie one from
Hagerstown.
yeah. He was a company clerk,
Okay.
a big man. I never had any trouble, because everybody gave me trouble. I tell Eddie, he'll hit his belly.
Oh, good.
And he was a nice guy. He's dead now. And that's the name of the game.
And before you went there, Dad, you were in Hawaii.
Huh?
You were in Hawaii, remember?
Yeah, I was in Hawaii for a while. We stole pineapples. We tried to steal pineapples. We didn't get very lucky. They fired rock salt out, I think. We could get all the not pineapples, but pineapples you couldn't get. You can get, what's the other one you can get?
The other fruit?
Yeah,
Yeah, they didn't let you eat the pineapples, they exported them all.
yes. And so,
On the island, tell me about, you were living in a pup tent, but
right.
what did you do? What was your duty assignment?
Now, I used to go up and work in the hospital, the operating room. I helped out in the operating room and cleaned tables and did whatever you had to do. And you do what you had to do, that's all.
And tell me about sort of a typical day in the hospital. Were wounded coming in on a regular basis, or what?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd go up in the morning and eat breakfast and see what operations are going on and help out with the operations until late in the afternoon. There wasn't much to do.
And the other folks that you worked with, doctors and nurses and
Yeah, pretty well. The same thing.
yeah.
We all worked together. I was a medic and they were medics and that's it.
You were pretty close to the battlefield though, weren't you, Dad?
Not in Hawaii. We were up around Schofield Barracks.
Okay, but at some point you were close to the.
Oh,
In
yeah,
Okinawa.
that's in Okinawa.
Tell me about that.
Okinawa, we pulled in October 2nd, 1940, I think it was. And they threw our bags on the beach, and a bunch of us went down there and dug our bags out until you found your own bag. And there it was, there's the front out there. We set up pup tents. And I had a pup tent with Eddie one. We had grenades, we had pistol belts, we had fire carbines, we had every damn thing. Now, he was our company clerk, one of the nicest guys. Eddie.
Were you ever under attack or fired at?
Yeah, we came under attack a couple of times. We had a CO that you all had to tell him the Jacks are going to be hit and he'd run away.
What did you do?
He ran up to the headquarters. I know he ran away.
But what did you do?
He was the colonel.
No, I
But what
understand
did
what he
you
did.
do?
What did you do?
Oh, I filled out in the operating room.
Okay,
There's that shock tent.
but during an attack, what did you do?
I grabbed a gun and would stand guard.
Okay.
If necessary, fought the Japs if they came in. And you did what you had to do. And
What happened during the typhoons?
the typhoon's another story. We lost 3 or 4 tents in typhoons that you wiped out.
Oh, I see.
That the typhoons wiped us out. And then we'd rebuild them, but they finally left them alone because there was nothing we could do.
Where did you take shelter during the typhoons?
On the ground, the stuff on the ground.
Where did you go?
What?
Where did you take shelter?
What did I take what?
Shelter in the caves?
Yeah, oh yeah. They had these caves where they bury their dead in urns, which
Oh.
we threw out and spread the thing, but that's a DDT. And we climbed in there and stayed there all night.
Okay.
And then we would run down to the pharmacist's tent and steal his whiskey. I mean, their job was to steal the whiskey.
And how long were you there?
Well, depends. There was 2 or 3 times we had to go in there.
Oh. Okay. And in between, you were on board ship or what?
No, on Little Shore, we put up our tents.
I see.
The tents and hoped lived in the tents. The tents, they were not bad. As long as they stayed up.
And was there somewhere else after Okinawa that you went?
Out to sea.
Went home.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole time, or all your very active time or battle time was spent on Okinawa?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was supposed to be in the invading force if they didn't drop the bomb.
This also seems like a pause.
I was on, I think, Hawaii. And we had a young nurse there, like a scrub nurse, you know what I mean? And the doctor there had his own nurse that I guess had been with him a long time.
Okay.
So he said to the scrub nurse, well, how did you make out last night? She says, it's none of your business how I made out, you know. He should give it back to him. Well, the scrub nurse walking around, he turns to her and he says, well, how did you make out last night? She turned red as a bead. Laughed like hell. I mean, he didn't care.
Yeah.
And so then the doctor went over and put his arm around her and said, don't let her worry. That stays right here in the operating room.
When did you join up with this particular unit that you were with? When did you join them?
When I got to Hawaii.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
And it was the same outfit from then on?
I don't know where the outfit came from, but I think I joined. Joined that in October. I don't remember.
Okay.
You know, dates don't mean anything.
Sure, and I'm not asking about that. What I'm interested in is the other people that you worked with in the unit. Are any of them stand out in your mind? You told us about your tent,
Anyone.
your tent mate. I understand.
Yeah, he's a company man. No, he's a company clerk.
Uh-huh.
And beyond that, we had a few guys that, but he was the one that stood out. He shared my tent and everything else. He was a big man.
Mm-hmm.
81. I saw him, we were coming through Hagerstown a number of years ago, and I didn't know who it was. I stopped there and I talked to his wife.
Tell me about what, if any, recreational things they did. Did they provide you any recreation, movies or athletics or anything?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
What about your communication with people at home? How did you communicate with people at home?
I sent letters.
Okay. And received letters from
Yeah.
from whom?
From my mother mainly.
I see.
This is a good one. I sent a letter home, and I says, I'm on Okie. When you see Okie, tell him I said hello to him. My brothers, both of them, who the hell is Okie? Then Ralph, my brother, says, Okie, it's Okinawa. He's telling you he's on Okinawa.
Tell me about your brothers. Were they in the war too?
My brother Lenny, I think he served in the Guard.
National Guard?
Yeah, I think so. And he,
Was he on the draft board?
I think so. I really don't know.
Okay.
And Ralph was in the Navy. His job was to lie detectors or something for submarines,
Sonar.
sonar, something.
Okay.
Uh,
Was he in the Pacific also?
I don't know where the hell he was.
Okay.
He was
No,
a
it was Atlantic
civilian.
mostly.
Okay.
He would disappear for days on end.
Hmm.
He told you now, I'll be back in a week.
And your family lived where at this time?
In Boston.
Ah, okay.
My brother served on the, where the ships docked at in the ships in the Pacific, in the Atlantic there. Out in the Atlantic there. I don't know. I didn't have much to do with this kind of stuff. I wasn't even around.
Right.
What was going on in the Pacific. And we didn't do much out there. We didn't, just didn't do. It sounds like you're always in action or something, you're not.
Oh, is that right? So what, sounds like it was boring some of the time,
Oh,
right?
sure.
Yeah. Tell us about, well, first of all, tell us, how did you learn about the end of the war?
We had a radio.
Oh, okay.
I think we had a radio.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other guys said, the war is over. That was it.
Was there a celebration or?
Well, you see, that there.
You want to show it in the camera?
Oh, well, here I can put it in range here. And this is a picture of, tell us?
It's in Hawaii.
No.
No, that was
Okinawa.
Okinawa, wasn't it?
Okinawa. Okay.
Okay, and this is when the war ended?
That's
This
right.
is how they were celebrating? They're
That's right.
sending off munitions and,
Everything that got fired, they fired.
mm-hmm. I understand. Yeah, that's what it says for it. How did you travel back, or what, how did you get out of the service? Tell us about,
By boats.
to where?
They took us to Seattle, Washington.
Ah, okay.
Then they took us on trains from Seattle to Denver.
Oh. And were you released from the service there, or?
Yeah,
Oh,
Camp Polka, Louisiana. No, not Polka, Louisiana. Fort Devens. Same as I went in.
Fort Devens in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Okay, so they trained you all the way back to Massachusetts?
Yeah,
Okay.
they didn't train you. They just took you back.
Well, okay. And as you look back on your war experience, did it have any impact on your later life, career, or staying in touch with
No, not
people
really.
you knew? No?
Oh, he would jump whenever he heard a loud noise.
Ah,
We went to the movies. Would get him up out of his seat if a weapon went off or tire backfired, things like that.
and that-
Lasted a long time.
Really? Years? Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Of helping those soldiers.
Oh, yeah. At night,
Okay, so
I had a whole water full of soldiers.
really, so they came in
Oh,
and they're all they were all injured from the war, right?
That's right.
So what kind of injuries did you help with? It must have been pretty
All
horrible.
kinds. All kinds.
What kind of wounds did they have?
All kinds. I used to give them penicillin at night
Right.
and shots and medications and things that I had every time.
Did you help before and after each operation? Because I'm sure they came in for operations to remove the bullets and sew up the wounds.
That's right.
So did you help apply cleansing agent to the wounds?
I did all kinds of things.
So you worked with the nurses also?
That's right. The nurses and doctors.
Right. So you probably had very long shifts
Oh yeah.
from like sundown to sunrise?
Whatever it was that I worked whatever I had to.
Right. So you were there quite a while.
Oh yeah, I was there from October 2nd till November to December.
December.
And then we shipped out to Naha.
Naha?
No, we came in Naha. I walked through I shipped out in November. I shipped to Nagoya.
Nagoya.
Yeah.
Right.
First shipment to Nagoya.
Okay, so that must have been 1944.
44, 45.
Yeah, so late 44, early 45. Okay. Because we heard the Battle of Okinawa was actually very, very intense.
That's right.
They were at least for 3 to 4 months. We heard that there were like 3 or 4 armies that sustained very bad casualties.
Heavy casualties.
What?
Heavy casualties.
Ah, so you saw quite a bit of things you probably don't want to remember, right?
That's right.
Yeah. But you had training. You had training as a medic before you got there. Right. Very good. So what was it like there on a daily basis? Was the food any good?
I don't know.
What was your favorite thing to eat there in the morning?
What?
What did you like to eat that was edible in the morning? And did you eat 3 meals a day?
Guess so.
Can you remember anything about the food?
No.
It was edible, that's all. And the thing was not to complain about the food.
That's right.
Right. Do you remember any of your bunk mates, your fellow medics?
At 81.
What?
At 81.
Ed A1?
Yeah. He was the county clerk.
Ed A1.
E1.
Oh, Ed E1. Was he also a medic?
No.
Or was he?
County clerk.
So how many medics were there working with you?
I don't know. We had a lot of them at block.
So you all slept in the barracks together, maybe, or the tent, really?
Well, we switched around. I had my own tent.
Oh, you had your own little pup tent?
Yeah.
You had privacy in your own little pup tent.
We had, was the 2 passengers there.
Yeah. Oh, so what was the weather like at that time of year in Okinawa? Did it rain a lot? It must have rained.
We had rain. I don't know. It didn't bother us too much.
Right. So you had proper raincoat gear. What are those called?
Tropical typhoons.
You had typhoons while you were there?
Yeah.
Wow.
We got wiped out 2-3 times.
What do you mean wiped out? What does that mean?
Typhoons went through and knocked down everything.
Okay, so where did you go?
We went there were concrete little urns that had what you call it? The Japanese buried that thing in urns. So they threw the urns out, sprayed the place with DDT, and then went in there and stayed there all night.
Ah. So these urns, you could actually climb inside?
No, little urn. Like,
Okay.
Burial urns.
burial urn.
Burial.
They cleaned out the burial urns and slept in the caves.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you probably had to go into the caves during the
That's
typhoons.
right. We
Yeah, because that's where the Japanese soldiers were also, in the caves.
That's where they were buried.
Right, right. Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, oh, I see. I get it. So you went into the caves, you took out the urns,
Threw them out.
threw them out, right, and then that made space for you to sleep.
That's right.
Okay, got it. Okay. So how many typhoons were there? Do you remember?
2 or 3.
2 or 3. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of wind and rain. That's amazing. So did the soldiers go in and make sure there weren't any Japanese soldiers inside the?
They're all dead.
They were all dead. Okay. Yeah, because I remember, I wasn't there, but I read that all the tunnels, a lot of the tunnels in the mountains were connected to each other. So even if you went in one part of the mountain where there were no soldiers, at the back of the tunnel, so you could get attacked from soldiers coming through the network of tunnels. Right? So,
I guess so.
yeah, yeah.
These
Okay.
are just small places.
All right, all right. So obviously there weren't too many battles during the typhoons.
And
None. Okay, all right. So you were there about 3 months.
whatever it was.
So were you were happy to leave?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a party?
No.
No party. Just packed up and got back on a ship of some kind. And where did you go from there? To
Goya.
Nagoya. Was that another?
I think we first went to Naha
Okay.
and slept in the bank. I remember sleeping in the bank.
A bank?
Naha Bank. That was one of the few places left standing.
Ah. Okay.
And the next day, I think it was, we went on to Nagoya.
Nagoya. Were there battles at Nagoya also?
Oh, sure.
Oh, so you went. It was Nagoya. Nagoya was another island,
Nagoya was a Japanese island.
right? So that was probably even closer to Japan, right?
That was Japan.
Nagoya, I recognize that. That was like part of a peninsula,
I don't know about it.
a peninsula off of Japan.
That's right.
So that was probably right near the end of the war then.
That's right.
So were there a lot of casualties that you had to help
No,
out
not
with?
too. I worked in a psych hospital.
Well, a psych hospital for American soldiers.
Yeah.
Did you meet any Japanese soldiers that were alive?
We had some
Prisoners?
we had prisoners of war, we had Japs, so we had everything there.
Right,
We were moving to the States.
right. I remember seeing pictures of you, with your comrades there, your buddies, your army buddies on Okinawa. I remember you showing me those pictures. Yeah, you were very thin then, and you're pretty thin now too, actually. But okay, so from Nagoya, you came home. So how long were you in Nagoya? And you stayed at a bank building.
That was in Japan, in Nagoya.
Nagoya.
That was in Okinawa.
There was a bank building in Okinawa.
There was a big bank building in Nagoya, all empty.
Oh, Nagoya, yeah, because they had been evacuated. So that probably made a nice place to stay then, a nice big room.
Dry place.
Dry, right, that's the key. Dry. Because as you just said, October to mid-December was monsoon season, typhoon season in Okinawa. So the key there was, probably a lot of soldiers got sick just from the rain, right? Dysentery or what kind of
Yeah,
sickness?
my own equipment. My own double bag.
Right. Did it stay dry?
Yeah.
Good. Did a lot of soldiers get sick from all of the rain?
I don't know.
Did you get sick from the rain? You stayed healthy? Good, good. You did a lot of walking. Probably, I'm sure. Good. All right. How's that, Sherry? Anything more that you'd like to add? So, how long from Nagoya you got on a ship or a plane to come home?
No, we went home. We went to Nagoya. And in Nagoya, we went on board ship, another ship, big ship, and came home.
All right. So, did you come all when you
Came
came
home to the Pacific,
to Seattle?
Seattle.
Right. A lot of troops came back through Seattle, and then you